So in this video I'm going to be talking about Arthur and his Prestige 5 ability. This is the current build I have for Arthur. There are many changes you can make to this. To be honest, I would take 3 points out of here and put it into here. Or actually put 2 points into here and then last point into cardio. So this is like the solo Q build I would use. Fast forward is really important against Ball and Plague. Fear no evil is important so you don't get feared off point. Because you're living the solo queue experience, you're going to probably have to do point by yourself at some point. This is so you have 4 dodges. This is so you could have your ability a little bit faster. It's about 30 seconds cooldown instead of 40, which I feel like is worth it, just to lower your fear. You don't need this fully maxed out to really benefit from your weapon mastery with the sword. I'm going to be talking about the sword and Arthur a little bit later in the video in the tutorial mode, because there are some problems with the sword, and I'll explain it in fighting game terms. Basically with Arthur, what you want to do is just chain finishers when you have your ability active, so that you're buffing your team that extra 25%. I honestly think that this is a wonderful P5. I think the only thing that really needs to be changed with the Arthur in general is this ability right here, the extra duration, and in his description of the Lord's Wrath, it says that you reduce fear levels. Now they need to change the wording for that to say that you need to be right next to him to reduce fear, because yeah, it's not based on his aura. And unfortunately, if they did change it that it was his aura, he would be a better leader than Leader Ash. Because that's the whole point people go Leader Ash, is because his fear protection against other survivors. Right here, fear resistance and 25%. So you can't reduce fear. So if you had Arthur reducing fear, it would make Leader Ash pointless, because his fear resistance wouldn't be as good as Lord Arthur's fear reduction. I think they need to buff Arthur in the way that Annie or Ruby does. Something other than just damage. So Annie has balance bar. Ruby has damage reduction. Honestly, I know dismemberment isn't that strong right now, because of the buff they did a while back, where you can't headshot enemies and destroy the enemy that's possessed. But maybe they could do something with dismemberment. I mean, he does use a sword, and it kind of makes sense that they use bladed weapons during his time period. So dismemberment would be a wonderful kind of thing he would do, because then he would be able to dismemberment for the hunters as well. So if you go like I have a hunter team, you could still pick Arthur, because right now Arthur is only good with the certain team comp, and I'm going to talk about that team comp right now. The only time you should really choose Arthur is if you have a support Ash or a blacksmith. Those are the only times you should really choose Arthur. Because honestly, Ruby is better in every other way. She helps with damage reduction, and she helps with range and melee. So, like, why wouldn't you choose Ruby over that? She helps with maximum stamina regeneration as well, up to 24%. Damage is increased to 24%, and damage reduction. So it's 1% less than Arthur. Like, it makes that 1% really gonna like matter on buck phase? No, I don't think so. Because you have all this other bad things that you're providing as well. You're gonna help your support keep shimps because you're helping with damage reduction for them. Not to mention the maximum stamina regeneration, so they're gonna be able to dodge more, and they get their cooldowns faster. So in this way, Ruby is better in every way. Another thing is, Arthur doesn't really team up very well with Warrior Ash. And that's because Warrior Ash has to do finishers, and because he has an ability that disrupts your finishers. And that's Shield Blast. So it damages the enemies around you, and then so you kill the enemies instead of being able to do finishers on them. So in this sense, he's not very good. Not to mention his chainsaw. People that run Warrior Ash and Henry normally run them for survivability, keeping the team alive, like running tanks in Overwatch, you know? They want to be as tanky as possible so they can take as much damage, but not deal out as much damage. So in this way, Arthur's not really helping them. Ruby would be better. Now, the warriors that do run well with Arthur are Scotty and Mia. Because their whole kit is based off damage, right? Scotty's based on multiple target damage, and Mia's on singular target damage. So, the perfect team comp for Arthur would be Ruby, Arthur himself, obviously, Scotty or Mia, and Blacksmith or Support Ash. Honestly, I've been enjoying running with Blacksmith more than Support Ash. Because Blacksmith can pop an amulet and increase even more melee damage for your two warriors. So then you have all this damage increase coming from your Blacksmith, Ruby, and Arthur for the Scotty or Mia. I don't like Mia right now because Ball is such a strong character right now, and he's based all his damage on fear, and she is a character that bases all of her damage on fear. So the counter to Mia is Ball. So that's why Scotty, I feel like, is the better pick. So that kind of reduces your character pool even further with Arthur. So like Ball and Puppeteer are the strongest demons right now, which both are based on fear and possessions, which is what Mia's bad against. When Scotty can reduce his fear by getting kills on multiple targets. So in this aspect, Arthur, Ruby, Scotty, and Blacksmith are probably the best combo. That way you're buffing the Blacksmith to warrior level damage, and the Scotty even further than that. And then the Arthur can do warrior damage as well thanks to the Ruby. So the fact that you have such a small pool of characters you can run with Arthur, it almost feels like a wasted slot. You can make an argument, well, if you just want to run an Arthur, Warrior, Kelly, because she can benefit from the melee damage increase because of her weapon mastery, in case if she runs out of ammo. And then support Ash and Blacksmith. But you could get the same benefit from Ruby, and it increases her range damage as well. So it's very sad to say, because Arthur is my favorite character in this game. He was the first character I got up to level 25 because of the requirements to unlock him. To unlock him, you actually had to do missions here. And you had to go all the way up to Arthur's level. So you had to unlock all the other characters before that, which was Amanda and Pablo, just to get to Arthur on the last one. So you never had to fight for Arthur because so many people couldn't pass the third mission because of how difficult it was. Now the missions are super easy. But I always enjoyed playing him because of that, because of the requirements to unlock him. Even though he was still bad when he was first out, leaders were completely different. You only had 3 pink F grades. You only had 2 dodges, so they were worse than support. So back in the day, leader was just awful to run. Now I think leader's a little bit overpowered when it comes to survivability, not to damage and everything else. But a leader can really stall out the game compared to the other survivors, because of how hard it is to possess them and down them. They're honestly harder to down than hunters, even though hunters have more dodges. So also with this build, I would probably take 1 point out of here, put it into here, and have it like this, just because of Ball and the amount of damage he does. See you with Fear. I think this is probably the best build I have right now. I am going to get Lord Arthur to level 30. And he's going to be the first level 30 character I have at Prestige 5. And that extra skill point, I'm going to put it into Cardio. I think Cardio is probably the best perks for Leader, as well as Artful Dodger. And I think that'll be it for my build for him. Now, I'm going to talk about the problem with the sword. And to do that, I'm going to go on tutorial. So the problem with the sword is that the second heavy swing doesn't always connect.
I shall fight valiantly.
And I'll show you in the animations why it doesn't connect. The first hit with the sword, with the heavy, is an upward to a downward animation. So it hits high to low. This is very important because of certain demons crouch when they hit. Or lean forward. So like Puppeteer is one, Ball is another one. Unfortunately in tutorial it is Warlord. I can't change the demon.
This is Professor Raymond Noby. I am now certain that my recitation
if I could change the demon, I would change it to
has resurrected a
Ball.
I cannot rectify my error.
For sure.
Execution of the following instructions.
Because Puppeteer is when you're trying to help a teammate and they're getting hit. And you're hitting the demon from behind.
Gather them to ascertain the
You'll see the swing. This swing is upwards to downwards, so it's a full range, right? But on the second swing, it's only an upward slash. So because if it's an upward slash, if a puppeteer is hitting somebody in front of you, and you're trying to hit him in the back, you're going to miss the second swing. So that's really awful. And it feels awful because there are times you'll miss, and that one miss can down your teammate. Now, there's another swing that also sometimes misses, and that's the last one. It is kind of mid-high where it hits, but does have a potential to miss if you're not careful. So the best attack string for Arthur is 3 lights and then a heavy if you have last word on. Now, I'm going to show you the second does hit on a warlord. As you can see, it goes on the neck level right there. But demons that are smaller, like Ball and Puppeteer, where they lean forward and attack, it can have really bad effects and you can miss and take damage. Or your teammate can take damage because of it. Something that you don't want to do as Arthur, as you're getting hit or shot by your possessed teammate, is activate your ability. You can't dodge until your ability is done. So never use your ability when you're taking damage. It's better to take it as the enemy is coming towards you, and then so that you have the ability to start attacking. You don't want to dodge and use your ability as well, because you're once again you're going to be stuck in the animation of using your ability. The best weapons, I think, for Arthur are the mace. The mace feels very fast with him once you get the pink Fs fully maxed out. Another problem with the sword is that when you max out his pink Fs completely in melee, the sword swings really fast, which is good, but it doesn't give you time to dodge in between your swings. And what I mean is, even though it swings really fast, you still have to dodge away to not take any damage. So it's good against enemies that are really attacking you or attacking your teammates. But once again, it just doesn't feel good, unfortunately, which is sad because Arthur has one of the coolest animations with his weapon, where he lights up his sword with his ability. With any other weapon, he just uses his fist to activate his ability. So, yeah, I feel like that's the things that they can improve with Arthur, and things that are wrong with him. I really think that Dismemberment would probably be the best, because Ball right now, his units, which I think is funny since they buffed Dismemberment, is that they take less dismemberment damage. So it's harder to dismemberment, which makes kind of sense because his basics are very strong. So right here, then the passive skills. The higher the survivor fear level, the more damage they take. Ball increases the fear level of survivors nearby. When near Ball, all flashlights go off. Skin, right here, are highly resistant to dismemberment damage. So the elites are very resistant to dismemberment damage. And same with the meat puppets, the basic unit. So I feel like him buffing Arthur for dismemberment damage would be very helpful against Ball and make him a better pick to go against Ball. Because right now, the counter to Ball is Leader Ash, but he's only a counter for himself. I talked about this in some other videos, is that Leader Ash is a great character, but the fear resistance only really helps himself. So he can't get feared off point, and he can't take damage from Ball that way. Like, honestly, for him, I would have it like this. and this is basically the same as Arthur, you know, but he's not the counter pick for a team build. Like, he doesn't help reduce warriors' fear. Once they're max fear, like, he does nothing. And same with hunters. Like, if you're going up against a ball player, then you know, like, leader Ash and support Ash are needed. You can't just run leader Ash by himself. You need both to have any really effect against ball. That's kind of the problem with the leader class, is that you have to run a certain team comp with every leader. I'm thinking Brock, Arthur, and leader Ash. Annie, you don't have to run a specific team comp, which I think is great, and same with Ruby. And that's how every leader should be considered to be. Like, if you want to run Annie and 2 warriors and a support, that's fine. As long as everybody's running a melee weapon that does a lot of balance bar damage, the Annie is still a good pick. Even though what she does is buff hunter damage. Ruby, she has never been a class leader where she's class focused. I mean, if you want to think of anything, I feel like what she really does is help support the most, because it helps with ability cooldown, which is really good for David, so he gets his ability faster, and the damage reduction she provides helps David. This is why this 2 combo was so powerful in the beginning. Now they run a damage reduction cap, so they're not really both necessary. But before that, these 2 were the only ones that really did that much together. So when you ran a David, it'd be nice to run a Ruby. And when you ran a Ruby, it was really nice to run a David. So they need to kind of rework some of the leaders so they have more versatility. Arthur, leader Ash, and Brock are definitely the ones that they need to reconsider to help better their team. Which is funny because Brock is like a worse version of Ruby. I said this in my Brock video, that all these numbers that he provides here isn't good enough compared to Ruby's 24% that she provides. And it's not like if you ran 2 warriors that you get 24% melee damage per warrior. And that's not a very good idea to run anyways, because you need a hunter and you need at least a warrior. You need one of each to really be able to deal with the demon that you're going to go against. Because if you have 2 warriors and you go up against Plague, the elites take less melee damage. So when book phase comes around, it's going to be harder to win on book because of that. You don't want to run 2 hunters, because if he runs puppeteer, the elites take less range damage. So you see, the problem with Brock is that he doesn't provide enough for his team to be a viable pick. Yes, he's a tank. Yes, he has high fear resistance, and he could pick up his teammates, but you shouldn't be picking up your teammates off the ground. Like, that shouldn't be what your goal is as a leader. Your goal as a leader is to keep your team alive with your aura and helping them provide enough damage where the demon can't do that much to your team. So it's another reason why I don't think Brock isn't really good. The same with Arthur and Leader Ash. Now my next leader I'm going to be working on is probably Ruby, because I'm already level 2 with her, and I kind of want to leave Leader Ash for last, because like I said before, he's kind of like Brock, where he doesn't do enough for his team. He doesn't. I mean, El Jefe is thank God he has El Jefe, right? If he didn't have El Jefe, Grande, he'd be awful. This is one of them. Start with the chainsaw. That's wonderful. You can find chainsaw anywhere on the map, and the chainsaw is a really good weapon because it has the same problem with the sword. So honestly, this is like the only thing that's really good for him. His ability here affects balance bar damage, and the cooldown is very short, so it is good, but like Annie would be better, you know? Annie doesn't have to use her ability to damage the balance bar. So that's my video. Thanks for watching. So in this part of the video, I'm talking about why Arthur is not really the best at book phase, but he can work. You see here we have a full warrior squad basically, blacksmith as well. And he's buffing up with our amulets here. We do very well and deal with the units. I finally maxed out my melee here, but you'll see that we do make a mistake here and all group up on the elite that's on book, which does work. We're able to put out enough damage where we could kill the unit before he can get his lightning blast, and you'll see right here. But the problem is we all have to be hitting him at the same time. And you'll see that there'll be one point in time where I don't get one hit off on him, and he's able to get the lightning strike off. Normally you just want one person to be focusing on the elite that's on book. And you see right there, the whole reason why he got the lightning strike off was because I didn't get that one swing in. Now if I was Annie, it would be totally different. He could have rocked the balance bar way sooner, and he wouldn't have got the lightning strike off. See right there, we're able to deal with the elite because we're all swinging on it. Now what you want to do for Puppeteer is you want to kind of be on book, like right next to book, so he can't summon his units on book itself. I do a finisher because I didn't want him to possess that unit. And he summoned the elite far away from that because he knows that he couldn't get the lightning strike off when we were all hitting him, which goes against everything that you need to do with the elites for Puppeteer. And right here, I miss again my first strike, so he's able to get that lightning strike off. And we win with a sliver of health to the book. Now,
hey, I just want to say we are all nasty. Love you guys. Good
this
shit.
next game,
That was a
I'm
good
going to
sweaty game.
show
Thanks for that.
a full
Good.
game against the P5
GG.
Puppeteer. Now, this Puppeteer doesn't really go
I dare
that
not
strong
assume we'll manage to
against Book as that last clip did. So even though that Puppeteer wasn't a P5, he knew what to do against Book. And that's why I included it in this video. So right now, we have a Blacksmith, which is great. We have a Ruby and Arthur to buff up our Henry. Our Henry's P5, and so is our Blacksmith. So our Blacksmith is going to be doing just as much damage as a regular warrior for this. So this is a very good team comp. Once again, I know I'm not showing my P5 Arthur. I'm only showing P4, but I feel like that this is just a good. These video clips are good examples of Arthur's gameplay and when he succeeds. But the problem is, like, you could argue that a, a different leader would have been better. Like the fact that Annie could have been better on that last game was very. Like you could make the argument because, like, oh, then you could have rocked the bounce bar because you're all warriors, and you could be like the hunter in your team. Um, so, but then again, like she doesn't buff melee damage. So when he summoned his boss, he died a little bit faster than if I was shooting with Annie. Um, I'm looking for a blunt weapon, and I don't really care about the sword. We don't have a hunter, so I'm not really worried about it. We have to go to Fishing Village, so I'm thinking about just taking a car because the demon is level 5 already. Gaining levels pretty fast. Blacksmith is in his own car, so we rush to Fishing Village here to just start getting map pieces and start the objective. I think with Puppeteer, like the best way to win on book is to beat him at a low level, but Puppeteer can really like level up fast. Not as fast as Ball, but I think out of all the demons, he could level up the fastest besides Ball. He doesn't really need required levels because of power possession, how powerful it is. Right now, I'm just trying to get 3 and 3 shemps, 3 and 3 amulets. You know, well, yeah, I feel like the mace and shovel are just really good with Arthur. I know people make the arguments like, well, the axe is the best, but the way I have my build, I like to do finishers when I have my ability active. Now I'm waiting for my Ruby to come here so that we could take off and go to Lucky Valley. There's normally some good chests over there, so that's what I'm thinking. Now this game, you'll see that on book phase, we don't do as well. And it's because we don't have as much damage as we should. So the elites are able to get off their lightning strikes. And we're all grouped up on book. So the fact that we win this game is a miracle. Like, if this demon was a little bit more book oriented, like focus on the book instead of us, we would have lost for sure. And it's mostly because the way I feel is that Henry is not a real DPS character. He's a tank character. And this is just solo queue. The last game was solo queue too. So it's understandable why he goes Henry, you know? I mean, it's the same way like people go Blacksmith or Ruby. It's because they want that survivability in solo queue. Because you don't know who you're going to be playing with. Because there's no skill-based matchmaking right now. So we're going to do the furthest point first, which is Dagger. You're going to see in this game that I'm like really not engaging with the demon that much. And it's because of the build I have this game. I don't have thick skin, and I don't have fear resistance. So I'm trying my best to stay away and just do finishers. So I'm not wasting the blacksmith gems or my own. See, look at that. I almost go down with just 2 hits. So it's not really My build isn't really good in solo queue. And the reason I have it like this is because it's a damage build that I have where I'm spec'ing into last word. But last word and then increasing my damage for my teammates, so my aura improvement. But it's not the right build in solo queue. My aura is a little bit small too, so I'm spec'ing uh, just 2 because I'm thinking I'm just gonna be close to my teammates here. And I'm watching my aura just so I can get in the right area. I activate my ability here just to lower my fear. Because like I said, I'm not expecting to fear no evil here. Once again, I stay away from the team and let the team do the damage and go in when I know I'm not going to take damage. So this is kind of like a cowardly build, which I don't really like playing as Arthur. Um, so I think the demon was trying to possess the elite there, but accidentally possessed the car. Um, the demon is not really at a good level right now, level 14. Um, as demon, you normally want to be like level 10 when the survivors start the first objective. And I'm just taking my time to really look for sheps here. Because like I said, I wouldn't even consider my character as a glass canyon, because even with like last word and spec'd in for like straight damage, he still doesn't do enough damage. Not enough damage as a warrior is what I mean. And right now I still have an axe. Once I like right now, an axe or a machete, not a machete, a mace is what I'm kind of looking for. Um, a mace would be preferable just because of the balance bar. Now, I saw my blacksmith get off, and I knew that this demon was going to go after him, so I jumped out here. I thought it was funny that the demon was doing the kicks right there. My teammates are being a little bit toxic here, unnecessarily. And so once he's done, I use my ability. Uh, um, yeah, I'm missing a lot of hits here because I'm garbage. Like, this demon isn't really putting that much pressure on us as he should. To be honest, with this team comp, I would have summoned boss, but he's really focused on using his basics here, and that's kind of like ends up his downfall. Ruby has could spec into thick skin, but she requires a lot of points to do that. So she normal Ruby player just specs into reduction from basics. So that's another reason why he shouldn't be using basics and try and go for the Ruby. He should just summon boss and try and go for her to see if she has spec'd into thick skin. So he summons boss because we're kind of alone here. And so I think he's going for me, but he goes for the Henry instead. Like, that's a P5 Henry. Like, he should have just went for me. I'm off on my own here. So this demon's target priority is a little bit off. Now I hear the chest there, but I continue going because I see my Henry here is starting to lose health, and my blacksmith is quite far away from him. And the blacksmith leaves and goes to the point. This is solo queue, so this is to be expected. Um, and the ruby starts running away. Now, the only reason I go for him here to go for the res is because they start the point. So he has to decide to either go for me or them on point. And he has a better chance of going for them on point. Because we have no car, so it's going to take a while for us to run over there. And you'll see that he almost downs the blacksmith. But luckily, the ruby gets there in time to give him an aura, so he gets less damage taken. And I'm being very stupid and running into these traps, even though I know where the traps are. So I move a little bit to the left here, so I don't activate that last one near the chest. And I know I really can't do anything for my team, but I am expected to fast forward. Not that that really does that much against Puppeteer, but it's better than nothing, you know. So I see the trap there next to the car, so I walk past it, but I still hit it. And I feel like my leader hash gameplay is going to be very similar to Arthur, where I'm just chaining finishers. So the demon wants to destroy cars, so it's going to take a while. If the demon really wanted us to take a while, he'd destroy the car at sewage as well and not really focus on us. You're on point. But he'd be risking losing the pressure that he's putting on us. But right now, we don't really have to waste stamina. We have to waste stamina if he destroys the car. To get to the next point. I didn't have any stamina there, unfortunately. I was surprised that the Ruby didn't take the purple grenade launcher. She would be able to do more with it than me. But I keep it anyways because I think it's a very good weapon. Compared to the explosive crossbow, I feel like even with Ed's mastery, the grenade launcher is better. I like that it has an arc, and there's so many good things about it. Sometimes it feels like it has a bigger blast radius too. I don't know if it does, but it just feels like it, and it definitely does more damage than the explosive crossbow, which I hope it would, because of that's its whole thing is blowing up. So luckily we're at Fishing Village here. I do know where all the traps are here as well because of demon games. So I look for them. That's why I turn my camera here to see if the trap's there, but it's not. Now, this is a good place for Demon and Survivor. It's a good place for Demon because there's lots of traps here. But now I hear him summon boss, so I immediately go for the railing here. This is why it's bad for Demon. I'm just dodging to get to this railing so I could activate my ability here. Because if I activate my ability without when I wasn't there, I wouldn't be able to. I would be taking a shit ton of damage because I'm unable to dodge while activating my ability. I don't condone flashlight picking, but I can't control it. It happened in the game, the other game as well, and I understand because Puppeteer is a very oppressive demon during book phase, but why do you have to be mad? It's only a game, is how I feel. Like, you're mad enough to, like, flashlight click? Like, if anything, you're telling a demon that he's good. And you could see this demon is just... He is P5, but he's just swinging away at us. He's not really trying to bait our dodges. He's not... he may be panicking, but... Like, this team comp, I don't think we should have won on book. We didn't have the damage or the balance bar. And I tried to check for proxy portals. He summons boss here. And he uses that ability before book phase even starts. Like, he should have stayed invincible until book phase started. I dropped my shims here for support. See, we're all grouped up on book here. And he got the lightning strike off. And he did split instead of actually trying to hit book. And here he's trying to hit, like, run around book. Ends up hitting us as well. So the P 3 that we went was having a better go at book than this P5. You see right here. See, we're all grouped up on book, so he's able to do a ton of damage to book here. And this demon almost beats us on book, even though when you think about it, this is a better team comp than the comp that I had against the P3. See, he's able to get the lightning strike off. And we're all grouped up. Ends below 50%, like, and we're almost a minute in. He should be only power possessing the elites. I mean, I know there is no Hunter Ash, but we do so much to his balance bar, it's like pointless to power possess his basics. It's better that he stays in the power possessed elite than the power possessed basic. See, we're all hitting him and we're not able to get the full kill on him because of this team comp. And look how much health the book has. He could have won if his cooldown wasn't there, and if he didn't possess that unit. Because that unit was going to go straight for book, and nobody was concentrating on it. So, this is where Arthur kind of really lacks, and that's during book phase. Throughout the game, he's good, but book phase is where he really struggles. Thanks for watching the video.